What are your thoughts on friends dating friends' exes? I hope that makes sense. Would you support a romantic relationship between your friend and your ex? Or would you date your friend's ex regardless of them giving you their blessing or disapproval? I contemplate about how I feel, but you make it way too hard to think. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Little Women Dallas drama between castmates Kaylee and Amanda. And if you've seen my last video, which you don't need the last video for any sort of context for this video, it is just related to, I guess, the Little Women franchise. There was a show called Little Women LA, which we talked about a couple that was on the show in my last video, and now we're talking about the Little Women Dallas spinoff of that show with the drama between two castmates, Amanda and Kaylee. And as you guessed from the title of today's video and by my previous question, one of these ladies dates the other's exes. But it's not as simple as that, or as simple as I'm putting it. There's a bunch more context, and I'll be providing you with that context, and you can kind of decide for yourself who was right or who was in the wrong, or if everybody was just a part of the same shit show. So as I mentioned in my previous video as well, this is reality TV. By no means are we taking it seriously, but I do think that it does raise interesting questions, and that's kind of my thing. That's kind of my jam, getting things from different media, whether it be TV shows, movies, and taking, I guess, real life aspects of it and dissecting on how I would respond in a situation like that. So that's basically what we're going to be doing today. And as I mentioned, I'll be giving you context on everybody involved, and we'll kind of break down the drama and what happened, and we'll go from there. So first, we have Amanda, and I would describe Amanda, at least when we're introduced to her in the first season of Little Women Dallas, as very chill, very sporty, and she describes herself as an adrenaline junkie, which I would say is pretty accurate based off of like some of, I guess you could say, hardcore stuff that she was doing. I guess it depends on what you do on your day-to-day itinerary, but some of the shit that she was doing was I would say pretty scary, some pretty scary shit. There's not much I can really say about Amanda up until the point the drama ensues, because like I said, she was always really chill. There was nothing that really stood out about her that was, I guess, negative. It would just all seem like a good time. And then you have Kaylee, aka Lil Twerk. We're introduced to her in the first season, and we're definitely witnessing her hot mess phase. And I say that, I'll hold your hand when I say this. I say that without any judgment at all whatsoever. I feel that Kaylee, especially, I think she was like the youngest co-star on Little Women Dallas. I want to say she was barely like 21, which wouldn't recommend going on a reality show at that age. If anybody witnessed me at 21, my word, I'd have to kill him. I'd have to fucking kill him. So Kaylee's character, she has no real career path. She's financially unstable, and her dating life is like a huge topic on the show. Her sex life is a huge topic on the show, which I was not a fan of, just how they were talking about it. And I feel like some of the judgment that she received from her castmates based off of her dating life and sex life, because like I said, she was really young, and I know at that age I was still trying to figure shit out and figuring out relationships and figuring out life and stuff. So by no means are we judging yet. As I mentioned, she also goes by Lil Twerk because she is a performer. She dances or twerks, and I wouldn't classify that as a hot mess trait if it was like paying her bills. But like I said, baby girl was struggling, and I felt for her. Like, she was just trying to find her way in the world and trying to figure everything out. So it is what it is. So at some point, Kaylee starts dating Casper. No, not the friendly ghost, but her castmate's boyfriend's friend. I hope we grabbed onto that. So shortly after her and Casper break up, she starts dating Chase, who also happens to be her castmate's boyfriend's friend, and incidentally, Casper's friend. So you see where I'm going with this? Now it seems we've been presented with a side quest, friends. So I'll ask you this. Have you ever dated in a friend group like that? Have you ever jumped from one peen to the next and the peens were friends? Huh? I just feel which listen, that is an entire thing in itself. And personally, I wouldn't do that for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons is literally displayed to us on one of the episodes. And essentially, there's a situation where Casper, Kaylee, and Chase are all at the same party and they are dragging Kaylee for filth. And it was actually very disappointing to see.
On my back.
What's happening there?
You mean how many checks of your boyfriends?
But...
Your boyfriends as you're knocking off checks? Well, I'm not talking about her. She be disrespecting herself.
You know what going on? You're crying about it,
Start, Kaylee. Don't start. The reason we don't start. He likes to you. I don't. That's why. I'm not. They can have it, bro. I'm not. Let me have a drink. I don't care. Be another one.
I feel like this episode in particular unleashed a lot and intrigues me a bit, you know? So one, you have Kaylee, who is now dating Chase. Chase walks in the door of said party, and Amanda is immediately like,
Hey.
Hi. Who's that? Oh, you just got blood all over my cheek.
that's like so far ahead of where we're going. But essentially, at this party, Casper is also there, and he's basically dragging the hell out of Kaylee for jumping around within the friend group, which just isn't, I don't want to say it's not a good look. Like, whoever you decide to sleep with is nobody else's business but yours. Do you. It was just kind of unfortunate watching her get dragged like that. And then not only that, but her new beau or her new person that she's hooking up with, because it becomes very debatable whether or not Kaylee and Chase were exclusive or if they were anything serious or if they were just something casual, but we'll get into that in a bit. But he didn't do anything really to defend her. He's like laughing along with her, or not laughing along with her, laughing along with Casper about how she was jumping from dude to dude, which I thought was really just like, oh, it was just very uncool, because I feel that if Casper like genuinely felt some type of way about it, that's completely valid for him to be like, what the fuck? Did you have to sleep with my friend? Of all the men that there were, you had to sleep with him. And I feel like his feelings are valid in that, but I feel like his response was extremely immature and could have been portrayed differently, instead of trying to embarrass her literally in front of all of her friends. And immediately, after seeing that interaction, I'll be honest, I immediately did not like Chase with her, just because he didn't really do anything to deter that. He didn't really do anything to deter her from being slut shamed, essentially, and didn't really defend her. And, you know, I imagine that's also an awkward position for him as well, but still, everybody just handled themselves so immaturely in that situation that it kind of just like, it turned me off. I was like, we probably shouldn't be dating either of these people, Kaylee. We probably should be doing literally anything other than dating these two people. This episode was so chaotic because apparently she owed another castmate money for damages. So for context, Kaylee lived with one of her castmates, and I'm trying so hard to remember her name. I can't remember her name. She lived with one of her castmates, and essentially the castmate invited her dad. The castmate invited Kaylee's dad to the same party that they were at, and she's on stage twerking. And it's just like, damn, girl.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
The castmate's reasoning was that she was concerned about the dudes that she was hanging out with, which is like completely valid and completely fair. But like, y'all are all above the age of 18. Y'all are all adults here. Like, there's a way to go about it without having to drag somebody's parent in. Like, literally, she flew him out. He flew down there to go check on his daughter, which is like very endearing, but I'll be like, damn, pick up the phone. Don't pull up on me mid-twerk. But I digress. So at some point, the women get together and they have like an unofficial intervention for Kaylee, basically telling her not to do that type of thing with dudes again. And I'll say this, like I said, sleep whoever you want to sleep with and do whatever you want to do with your life, baby. I'm never going to judge you. But I also feel that you shouldn't be spending your time with anybody. And I don't care if it's a guy, girl, they, them, whatever the fuck. You don't spend time with anybody, and you sure as fuck don't become intimate with somebody that doesn't respect you. Even if it's like a casual situation, you don't give somebody that does not respect you your time. Like, ill. Because like the whole situation that we just witnessed with Kaylee, it was honestly really sad to see. And like I said, she has every right to sleep with whoever she wants to sleep with, but at some point there does need to be an element of self-respect, and not to imply that if you have sex that you're disrespecting yourself in any way, but it's who you sleep with that says a lot about how much you respect yourself. Like I said, we're not judging here, you know. She was what, 21, trying to figure out relationships and shit. So we're not here to judge. I'm just saying. So I would say that Kaylee received her friend's concerns pretty well. If I remember correctly, I don't recall her getting defensive or anything, because I think she had to see for herself, like, yo, this ain't it. And for additional context, Chase was living with her for like 3 weeks, damn near a month, of him living in her space, and allowed another man to disrespect her in front of everybody. And like I said, I understand everybody's feelings involved, but there's always a better way that doesn't involve shaming somebody in front of everybody. So then we're like being steamrolled with a lot of information here, so roll with me. So then Kaylee ends up having a miscarriage, and the context of that is she didn't even really know that she had or that she was pregnant and had miscarried. So from the show, she took a pregnancy test, found out she was pregnant, went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, no, essentially, and that she was at some point pregnant, but then had a miscarriage, unfortunately. So it was, and I don't want to say it this way, I only say it this way because of everybody else's speculation. I do believe that it was her and Chase's baby. However, like I said, that became debatable as the season ended and as more stuff started to unfold. And essentially, Kaylee found out that Amanda and Chase were hanging out. So let Amanda tell it and let Chase tell it. They weren't being intimate with each other. They were just friends. And the way that Kaylee found out was like through social media, and it wasn't like a thing of Amanda going to her and saying, hey, by the way, like, don't be freaked out or anything, but me and Chase get along really well, we have really good conversations, and we're friends. Which, that's like another question. And I feel, okay, here are my thoughts on this. Here's my quick little hot take for you, okay? I feel that if you meet somebody as somebody's significant other, if you meet your friend's significant other as their significant other, and y'all somehow branch off and become friends after everything that had transpired and it wasn't anything good, I kind of feel like you would be an asshole, one, to want to be their friend, and two, to not at least at minimum say something. Because I do understand certain scenarios where that would happen, where if it's like, let's say a group of friends, somebody from that friend group starts dating this person, but everybody was friends before the relationship even started, so it made sense that they would stay friends after the relationship ended. But I think because, like I said, witnessing Chase being disrespectful towards Kaylee, and not just Kaylee, but also her dad too, which I completely forgot to mention, during the whole party situation, you know, as I mentioned, Kaylee's dad pulled up to the function, and Chase was being, I would consider, disrespectful. Like, he kind of stepped up to her dad.
Who the are you? Who are you? I'm Chase. Are you laughing? What are you laughing at?
I'm 11.
laugh at you if I want to laugh. I'm a grown-ass man.
My dad! Shut up!
And even after Kaylee was like, oh, this is my dad, he was still like being very defensive towards her dad, which I thought was very strange. And I just don't know in what world I would be in if I witnessed a dude shaming my friend for sleeping around with the group. And if it's my friend, I don't want to say even if she's in the wrong, I'm gonna defend her. But I'm just, I like I said, there's always a better way of handling something. And I feel like watching him make fun of her and laugh at her and make fun of her dad, because her dad also has dwarfism, I just feel like there's no way that I would want to be that person's friend, let alone date them. But that's just me. I don't know. So like I said, Amanda is like telling Kaylee like, no, like it wasn't like that. We're just friends. And like I said, that in itself was already one thing, but for her not to go to her and tell her like, hey, like I understand that y'all had y'all's thing. I'm just letting you know that we're talking now, at least to give her some form of a heads up and not to be blindsided by that type of information, especially given that Kaylee previously had a miscarriage. Like, and that was like a whole other thing too. So, and I'll give you Amanda's perspective. Amanda's perspective was like, okay, y'all were never anything serious, and we don't even know if the baby was his, and you didn't even want a baby to begin with, and you're making it a bigger deal than what it is, and there was no reason that I needed to tell you. We're not in high school. And I feel like Amanda had completely missed the point. And I think at some point, Amanda and Kaylee sit down to have a conversation about it. And Kaylee was basically just like, look, you're not a girl's girl, and you're not, you're breaking girl code. You should have at minimum told me that y'all were hanging out. And instead of Amanda kind of owning up to that and at least acknowledging, okay, like it was never my intention to hurt your feelings. And this is what I fucking hate. I hate these types of people where if you tell them that their actions have hurt your feelings or made you feel some type of way, and they refuse to take responsibility for that. And by taking responsibility for hurting somebody's feelings, you're not saying that you've done something wrong, but you acknowledge that your actions, intentional or not, has had somebody fucked up. And by owning up to that, you're acknowledging, okay, I understand where your boundaries are now, and I know how to respect them moving forward. But she refused, and I mean refused, to give that to Kaylee. She literally like argued her down. It was like, well, I don't think that I broke girls' code. And it's like, it's not about necessarily in a situation of what you think. It's more so like your friend is telling you that what you did hurt them. So now is time to figure out how to rectify the situation. And I've been in a situation before where my intention is to never hurt somebody's feelings, and I did. And they tell me that, and I apologize because it wasn't my intention. And I cannot stand people that feel like apologizing is like admitting defeat, or you're admitting fault in something, when it's like, no, if it's somebody that you care about and you tell them that they've had you fucked up, there's a way to have a discussion, learn each other's boundaries, and move on. And I feel like they could have moved on from the situation, because at this point, mind you, some time has gone by enough. Kaylee is now with Daquan, who is, in my opinion, like, really nice dude. He's also, or he seems at least really young, and they just like, they click really well. He's very respectful towards her, which I absolutely love for Kaylee. This is where it becomes debatable on whether or not Chase and Amanda, or Chase and Kaylee, were official or not official. And this is what I wonder too, about where you feel a line has been crossed or hasn't been crossed. I feel regardless if the relationship was defined, regardless of how serious it was, Chase was living with Kaylee for 3 weeks. Kaylee and Chase had a miscarriage, which if you ask Amanda and if you ask Chase, they're very adamant on, well, we don't even know if it's Chase's. We didn't even know if that was going to be Chase's baby, which in a whole other way is like so fucked up and so disrespectful. I understand the concern because of the timing of everything, but even so, like Kaylee confirmed the timing and it was Chase's. It timed out to where it was Chase's baby. We find out later, or Chase explains later, oh, I was living with her because my girlfriend was living at my house. So he was living with Kaylee for 3 weeks, damn near a month, hooking up with her while his girlfriend was living in his house. What? Like, and it was just mind-boggling to me because whenever Chase did say that, this was like, I think in the season 2 reunion, Chase says this, and Chase comes through, no fucking shoes on, bottom of his feet looking like fucking Fred Flintstone. Okay, like it was just giving weird. He says all of this in front of Amanda, and Amanda doesn't bat a fucking eye. Like she's just kind of like, they were never anything serious. And like, are we just gonna skip past the part where he said he had a girlfriend and was living with another woman and sleeping with another woman? Huh? And like, I never understand these types of girlies either. And I know I said I wasn't going to judge anybody involved. And I don't mean to judge Amanda because I get it. Things can be confusing. And well, I understand her thought process to an extent. But I don't like the idea of dating a guy and he's disrespectful to women that he doesn't like. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense because that was Amanda's whole spiel too. Because essentially Kaylee was like, he's gonna play you too, he's gonna do the same thing to you, and Amanda's defense was like, he's never been disrespectful to me, he's always been really nice to me and very respectful to me, unlike how he was to Kaylee, and apparently his ex-girlfriend that he was cheating on with Kaylee. And my thing is, I understand that. Like, have you ever heard the phrase, if a man wants to, he will? I feel like that applies to everybody, really, you know? And I just don't want somebody's default to be asshole. Now, follow me on this. Work with me here, okay? Just stay with me here. If a guy is disinterested, or if anybody is disinterested in whoever they're talking to, I don't think that it should look like disrespect. I feel like if anything, it'll look like simply disinterest. You know what I mean? I know when I'm not interested in somebody, my default settings, I'm a bad texter. So if it's somebody that I'm not necessarily interested in, I may not be texting back as quickly, but you won't see me laughing at their expense and making fun of them. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So it's like, yeah, if he wanted to, he will. But I just kind of feel like I would want a dude that morally doesn't naturally, in his default settings, treat women like shit. I would want his disinterest to look like disinterest and not disrespect. So for her to say, oh, well, he treats me respectfully, isn't good. That's no bueno. Because what's going to happen when he loses interest in you, or should he lose interest in you? Which eventually, I don't want to say he does lose interest in her, but we kind of do see him lashing out at her in a way that I felt was disrespectful.
You're not helping me out. Bye. Chase, what did I do?
You want your phone?
Chase, really? Are you kidding me? Chase just threw her phone on the street. What the hell is wrong with that guy?
So eventually it is confirmed that Chase and Amanda are hooking up, And I mean, it is what it is. Like, I feel like that was what it was from the beginning. However, she wasn't going to confirm that. He wasn't going to confirm that for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why they didn't just put the nail in the coffin and just say that that's what it was. And I feel like I would have respected Amanda a lot more had she just, I don't know, said something, or at least admitted to her act in it or her part in it, and just said, hey, I know y'all didn't work out, but I'm vibing with him, and that's just what it is. And I feel like if somebody approaches me in that way, especially if it's somebody that I was dating casually, I don't see myself having, I mean, like, I'm not gonna trip about it, but we're not gonna be friends. We're not gonna be friends anymore, because like, no, I don't want us to be those type of sisters, or what do they call them, with people or girlies that have slept with the same dude. I don't want that, basically. And same thing with dating an ex's friend. I don't want that either. Like, no. Going back and comparing notes and shit. Like, oh, did she do this? Oh, did she do that? Like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like that goes in a direction that I just don't want. But let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you've ever dated a friend's ex, or if a friend has ever dated your ex. Did y'all talk about it? Did you say, hey, I want to date your ex? Did they come to you and say, hey, I want to date your ex? Or was it done in secret? What was the situation? Because I know for a fact, I'm not tripping. I can't be crazy. I know that there has been situations where this has been done a lot less messy, a lot more cordial, and a lot more chill. Like, I know I can't be making that up. Somebody has to have a story, or it had a situation where everything worked out and everything was fine, and it was nowhere near as messy and as shady as this situation. And if you're one of those people, please let us know in the comment section. And if it was messy, please definitely let us know in the comment section. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. Have a good summer. I hope you're having a hot girl, hot guy, hot day them summer. And that's it. Bye.